Hi, my name is Kim Hoover, and I'm the supervisor for Help Me Grow at Links Community and Family Services. We have a small team. We just started in the summer, and we're putting together a program for home visiting for parents of newborns or young children to support them in the growth and development of their child, as well as the relationship between them and their child, and ultimately their entire family.
All righty, thank you. Welcome to the Joyful Together Community of Learners Certificate Program. Congratulations, Kim, and thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Kim. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited that you will be joining our Joyful Together Community of Learners Certificate Program. And we always want to hear from folks who sign up, why you sign up, what you expect to learn. But first and foremost, why Joyful Together for you?
So, Joyful Together is a really amazing and simple, long list of activities that parents can do anytime, anywhere, and it's just helpful in reprogramming our brains. So, a lot of parents that I talk to, I'm not a parent, but I worked with kids for 30 years. I wanted to give kids what my parents gave me, but in a different way. And so I find that it's not enough to just not want to do what we learned growing up. We have to know what to do instead. And Joyful provides that in ways that cost nothing. As our home visitor Sheila says to her families, it costs nothing at all. Like, they're just things that you can do anywhere, anytime, to help parents have a different response to their child available, and to make something that might otherwise be complicated without that tool.
So, Joyful Together, it's a lot, but it's simple, uncomplicated, helps undo maybe some complicated things, and it's free. So, speaking of costs, I know that the Community of Learners certificate program actually will be offered for free. Participants will have a stipend for their time, but I know that we can't quite capture everything under a free label. So I know that you are a supervisor and administrator yourself, and your staff, they're doing the most important work, going to see families, checking on families, engaging with moms, dads, kids. How do you see participating in the Community of Learners certificate program? Although free, how do you see it as something that you will gain, but also what will you look forward to contributing to the rest of the community of learners?
So what we aim to gain is momentum behind this, letting parents know that this isn't just a curriculum. There are people behind this that care. There are people who are doing this. Kind is the new cool, fun is in, let the stress go as much as we can and be supportive, starting with our kids. And so I think what we can contribute is that our team has real heart and soul for what we do. And we're passionate about it behind the scenes, off the clock, and we're passionate about it, in between our shifts. So I feel like what we can bring is our very eclectic experience. I myself spent 30 years in the private industry working very closely with children and their families and communities. And I've used a lot of things in Joyful Together, like the Achu game and the one fee fi fo fum. Like, those words came out of my mouth, and I'm like, there's something to this. And it was before I even knew about Joyful Together. So when I read these things, I'm like, listen, people paid me good money to be with their kids because I did this instead of what I learned growing up. But I kept the principles of the matter intact. I didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater in teaching kids values. And it's just a great way to help form that healthy attachment and solid relationship with the child.
Yes, and I love how you put that. So you captured probably what I would say in my pitch about Joyful Together. It's fun, and it's not just another curriculum. It's not something where parents are going through workbooks, and the Community of Learners certificate program most certainly will not be professionals going through workbooks. We'll be doing a lot of troubleshooting, a lot of case management, a lot of, hey, we talked about this and it seems simple on paper and it seems simple in that basic training you went back to, but what does it look like in real life? And one thing that you mentioned that we always bring up is playing with children is one thing, but Joyful Together is a program where we are asking to sit with parents, to co-regulate with them, and to use coaching. How do you see coaching parents to play, maybe being new to some parents, or maybe being a surprise to some parents, how important play is and what they'll get from Joyful Together?
So one of my former clients pointed out to me that, human beings need a driver's license to get behind the wheel of a car. But you take this bundle home from the hospital and you're expected to know how to grow a happy, healthy human in a crazy world. And so I feel like it's coaching parents to have fun is really way deeper than that. It's kind of like you look at the surface of the ocean, you would never guess all that wildlife is under there. The same with coaching parents to have fun with their children, because the adult child relationship has always been broken throughout human history. And a couple generations ago, kids were needed in the fields for labor. So, things were different. And then we had slavery not that long ago in this country. And so the adult child relationship is really struggling. I think it's one good thing that can come out of COVID is that we have a chance to mend that in ways we might not otherwise. But, coaching them to play is also helping them reparent themselves and learn to love and be loved again, and to have the kind of relationship with their child that they wished they could have had with their parent, maybe, or their caregiver growing up, or maybe to have that same kind of relationship that they were fortunate enough to have, but without knowing what to do. I mean, how do you do that unless you have a list of things that are, easy to think of in a moment when you are triggered to go one way with something like, the toddler doesn't want to do what you need to do. You've got to get to work on time and whatever, the idea of not saying no to a toddler and doing this instead, play this game and put them in the car. Like they won't even know what's happening.
You hit it on the head. And I have to say, anytime I think about Joyful, I look to sell it for myself. How healing it is, how important it is with all of the other things you have to do. And I think about myself. My husband and I, we brought home a baby who was born at 23 weeks. And was there a manual? But being able to actually not just be on the team for Joyful, but to live and breathe and get a chance to do Joyful, I got to tell you, that was my experience myself. It was healing. It was healing unto me. It seemed natural to my daughter, and then it was healing unto us. So I love everything that you're saying. I feel a little slightly jealous that I don't get to be on the other side, but I do look forward to having you in the community of learners. I feel as if we're going to learn a lot from you. I'm looking forward to your team. I'm looking forward to other folks who are joining themselves. And if I could ask you one thing to help us share with others. You already attended the Joyful Together basic training where we talked about how do we help infuse joy and play into everyday situations while we're coaching parents, while we're doing home visiting, whatever it may be, where we're interacting with families and children. But why the cohort? So again, the cohort, it is a certificate program. We'll have a fun graduation at the end. Not a lot of time being asked, but time being asked monthly to jump online, be a part of a group of learners. But why the cohort for you and your team?
Great question. So we came on board last summer, and we have a new teammate who's just going through the training now. And due to COVID, the entire training process, which I think it might be safe to say at least half of it was in person in like week-long sessions where it's like going to summer camp, and you create these bonds with people who do the work that you do, and these relationships with other agencies and the people who are in your role in these agencies, and you learn so much from each other, and you go into a family's home with that support behind you versus just two ships in the dark seas at night going through these virtual trainings. And so the cohort for me and for our team is going to help infuse us with energy and life, behind what we're doing, not just with Joyful Together, but the work that we're doing and that the people behind Joyful Together are doing, all of you, all of us. And I think, it's very important because the more people who work on repairing the adult-child relationship in the world, the better the world is. It's that important.